The intersection of the lives of Michelle Carter and Conrad Roy left a trail of heartbreak and questions about the circumstances that led to Conrad's tragic death in 2014.
It wasn't until they started looking at his phone that they realized that there was something else going on here. Because on that phone were hundreds and hundreds of texts from Michelle Carter to Conrad Roy urging him to end his life.
You can't think about it. You just have to do it. You said you were going to do it. Like, I don't get why you aren't.
And Michelle Carter admittedly said, do it. She was kind of making fun of him for not taking his own life.
I thought you really wanted to die, but apparently you don't. I feel played and just stupid. You're going to have to prove me wrong because I just don't think you really want this.
And she kept pressuring him to do it.
You're ready and prepared. All you have to do is turn the generator on and you'll be free and happy. No more pushing it off. No more waiting.
There was one point where he actually got out of the truck and changed his mind.
Yeah, he was scared.
And she told him to go back in the truck.
Yes.
The two had met while vacationing in Florida several years before. Conrad and his sisters were visiting relatives who happened to know Michelle.
How would you describe Michelle? Friendly?
Yeah, she's really friendly. She always made Conrad laugh.
Michelle lived just a few towns over from him in Massachusetts. Their relationship continued after vacation, but like so many teens, their interactions were mostly over text messages.
Had your son ever mentioned Michelle Carter?
Yes. After they met in Florida, I met her 2013 at his baseball game, and that was the only time I ever met her. Second time was at his wake.
Though Conrad Roy had a history of depression since age 16, his mother says he seemed to be doing better. The 18-year-old had become licensed to be a tugboat captain, just like his dad.
That's a huge accomplishment, to be a captain.
He had just graduated high school, and college, with a scholarship, was on the horizon.
And he was doing everything that was positive, that was, looking towards his future.
Conrad spent the afternoon of July 12, 2014, at the beach with his sisters and mother. Later that day, he left home around 6 p.m., telling his mother he was going to see a friend.
And I asked him if he was going to be back for dinner, and he said he didn't think so, and that was the last words that he spoke to me.
After a frantic search by his family, police found him the next day, inside his pickup truck, parked at the local Kmart. His cell phone was right next to him.
And he died in his truck. Carbon monoxide poisoning.
I got in the car and my mom was just like crying, like the most I've ever seen her cry. And she was like, he's gone. And like, she was just like, your brother's gone.
It still hurts just as much as it did then, doesn't it?
I will live with this forever, the pain.
Investigators would soon find texts between Michelle and Conrad in which she seemingly encouraged him repeatedly to kill himself. Several months after Conrad's death, Michelle Carter was arrested and charged with involuntary manslaughter. She went on trial in 2017. Her case would be decided by a judge instead of a jury. Prosecutors argued that Michelle and her incessant texting had immense influence over Conrad.
She helped him devise a plan to kill himself.
But defense attorney Joseph Cataldo painted a very different picture.
Your Honor, this case is a suicide case. It is not a homicide. And the evidence of the texting is overwhelming that Conrad Roy was on this path to take his own life for years. Michelle Carter was not present. Michelle Carter had been texting with him. She did not physically see this individual for over 1 year.
The defense suggested that Michelle was psychotic, delusional, and involuntarily intoxicated from taking the antidepressant Celexa.
Ms. Carter, please stand. This court, having reviewed the evidence and applied the law thereto, now finds you guilty on the indictment charging you with the involuntary manslaughter of the person Conrad Roy III.
The judge sentenced Michelle Carter to 15 months behind bars, but granted the defense's motion for a stay, pending an appeal. In 2019, her conviction was upheld and she began serving her sentence. In January 2020, Michelle Carter was released early from prison for good conduct.